Are you interested in attracting diverse candidates to fill your vacant positions at work? Well, if you answered yes, you may want to take a gander at the 2020 Glassdoor survey. The survey found that 76% of job seekers and employees said that a diverse workforce and an inclusive work culture was important to them when evaluating job opportunities. At Alimentiv, they foster innovation in healthcare by investing profits back into research and development, identifying novel solutions to unmet needs, while also engaging talented people. And as far as creating a diverse and welcoming work culture, the slogan at Alimentiv when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion is Discovery Accelerated. Robert Pitman is the manager of human resources at Alimentiv. It's his job to ensure that Alimentiv stays true to its core principles when it comes to developing and fostering a culture where everyone is included in the hiring process and beyond. He joined me this week to have a conversation about creating an inclusive culture at work, in healthcare, research and development, and so much more. I'm fired up to have an inclusive and thought-provoking conversation, so without further delay, I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. But Rob, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, buddy. And I'm super excited to learn about all the great work you do at Alimentiv. Always great to see you, my friend, and I thank you so very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kev. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and an honor to be a guest here. So yeah, looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. Now I know at Alimentiv you're all about reinvesting into research and development when it comes to healthcare. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about the mission of Alimentiv and what it's all about, buddy.
For sure, absolutely. No, happy to share. So yeah, Alimentiv is a we're a unique company. We're a contract research organization. So we're commonly known as CROs in the industry, and basically what we do is we partner with pharmaceutical companies and biotech companies to manage their clinical trials. And specifically, we're experts in the GI field. So we support clinical trials for inflammatory bowel disease, so Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, NASH, which is a large upcoming area of research, esophagitis and celiac disease. So that's our specialty. There's some very large organizations that kind of do everything across many different therapy areas, but our focus is specifically within GI, and we're a little bit unique, I guess, from our peers in the industry in that we came out of a research organization. So we began at Western University and part of Robarts Research Institute, focusing on clinical trials. And part of the mission is to transform, really the mission is to transform human health. And so what we do as part of our profits in our organization are reinvested back into conducting our own clinical trials, our own outcomes research, which is really aimed at improving outcomes for patients with these chronic, terrible chronic GI conditions. And there have been lots of advances over the years and lots of really positive developments, but there's still many areas of need where patients, don't respond to current treatments, or there's just not enough information about the best course of treatment for certain patients. So yeah, that's a little bit of the work that we do.
And I know for you as the manager of human resources, buddy, you're always looking to engage with talented people. And when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I know it's a big part of what you do. And the slogan in that regard is Discover Accelerated. So tell me about how you value diversity, equity, and inclusion as a company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you nailed it. We're a very diverse organization. We have over 70% of our workforce is women. We have many different nationalities represented within our business. Many different languages that are spoken. Folks of different abilities as well in our organization. And it's really important to us. I think, just like many other organizations out there, I think it's a work in progress for us. We still feel like we have a lot of work to do, but at the same time, we've seen the benefits of having people of different abilities, different nationalities, different work backgrounds, where that ends up paying dividends and making us a more successful organization. We're culturally more advanced. We're more productive. Just even if you look at sort of team dynamics, when you have a group of people, when you have a really homogenous group of people, you're not going to arrive at the type of solutions and the creativity that's needed to advance the business. And so I think, that's something that we've really celebrated, and something that is going to be a huge focus for us. Actually, we're just in the midst of refreshing our strategic plan within HR, and diversity, equity, inclusion is going to be a really big part of what we do, and it's something that's really important to our employees as well. So.
Yeah, and Rob, I know for you personally, as the manager of HR, it's important to keep evolving when it comes to infusing folks with disabilities into what you do. A couple of months ago that we collaborated on a webinar or seminar on the topic. So I'm curious from a personal perspective, how important do you think it is to infuse folks with disabilities into a working culture?
Yeah, it's hugely important. And yeah, thinking back to that session, I mean, that was so helpful for our team, and to help give our team that perspective, and understand the resources that are available out there to be able to help us, and just all of the benefits that come along with hiring people with disabilities. That these are people that are bringing a different perspective, that are extremely loyal and hardworking, and bring a lot to the role. So no, it's something that's like I said, it's hugely important. Something that's going to be key and part of what we do in terms of our talent acquisition and our strategic plans over the next few years.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, tell me about the importance of collaboration and innovation in the work that you do, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, collaboration is actually one of the pillars of our culture, and I think kindness as well. We've always been a collaborative and kind organization. We're a business of just over 500 people, and like I mentioned to you, we work in an industry where there's some of the larger organizations have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 employees, and the work that we're doing is really important, right? Focusing on clinical trials. and so this is really important work. So you want to be able to feel like you're, you have a close-knit team, and that you can reach out to people and be supported by people within the organization to get the job done. And that is something that we've been able to maintain even through the growth that we've seen over the years, that there's a consistent kindness and collaboration in our culture. And that's something that we're really hoping to maintain. And I think what comes with that too is when we're supporting one another, when we're having new ideas, and we're met with sort of kindness, and we're being welcomed for bringing new ideas, that's when we're able to innovate and bring new ideas forward, and continue success that way. So yeah, that's it's a huge kind of pillar of our culture, and something that we're really striving to maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, when you look to hire people, how important is it when you look to hire them that they sort of infuse themselves in the company culture that you've already built? And when you look to hire them, do you look also, I guess, at the characteristics that can help you build and strengthen your culture as well?
Definitely. No, culture, I mean, it's one of those things that everyone talks about, and it's a very difficult thing to define, and it's a very difficult thing to measure, I guess, in someone who's or assess in someone who's coming into the business. So what we try to do throughout our selection process is we really try to share as much information as we can with candidates through the process about the culture of the organization, the culture of the team, really make sure that they're getting that realistic job preview, because as much as we're assessing them for a culture fit, they're also assessing us for a culture fit, and we need to give them the information to do that. So I think it's extremely important. And one of the things for us, I think, and part of the reason why we have such a close-knit organization, and why we have the collaboration and kindness that we do within our culture, is that we do have so many people who align to the purpose of the company. So, when everyone is focused on transforming human health, and is focused on having success as a business, so that we can continue to reinvest and bring advancements, and further the research that's going to have an impact on people at the end of the day. It makes things a lot easier, no matter what, how bad a day you might be having, or what might be going on personally. You can feel good about waking up and coming to work, and knowing that the work that you're doing in some way, whether you're in HR, or whether you're in the clinical research side of the business, our data management team, regulatory affairs, in some way, what you're doing is contributing to the purpose, and hopefully creating a better situation for patients who suffer from these conditions. So that's definitely something that we explore in the selection process, and that having that alignment is really key. But it has to go both ways, like I said, right? If somebody needs to assess us that way as well, and so we try to give them all the information that they need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, from a more general perspective, I'm curious to get your thoughts on how HR trends have shifted with so many people working from home, and how have, I know that you work remotely too, so how do you think that the post-pandemic view of HR will go?
It's it's just such a good question. There's no question, no doubt that it's been an interesting couple of years for HR. It's been, right from, the pandemic beginning, and making that shift. Luckily, our organization was already a very virtual organization, and was set up well to manage that transition to work from home. So I think our business lends itself well to that. I'm sure other businesses, it was much more of a challenge. I think what a lot of organizations are struggling with, and what employees are struggling with, is how do we stay engaged with with one another? How do we get that some of the information that we might get from those informal conversations that we're having when we're bumping into folks at the office. So I think it's really about how do you maintain culture in a virtual environment, and how do you engage employees, and how do you give them opportunities to have a voice, connect with one another, and get those sort of social benefits that they would have had from working in the office. And yeah, like other organizations, that's something that we're working on. We're conducting engagement surveys from our employees. We're fielding ideas from them about things that we can do, things that we can improve around that. So it's a challenge. I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges facing HR at the moment, and we're definitely no different. And in terms of my own personal experience, like you said, I've worked from home actually for almost 6.5 years now. So it wasn't really a new experience for me when the pandemic happened, and I've learned a lot of great lessons from others who have worked remotely in the past. And I think it just comes down to making that effort, carving out the time to keep the connections, and reaching out to people, and accessing the platforms to be able to stay connected to the culture. So it's a very interesting topic, but I think that's probably top of mind for a lot of organizations at the moment.
Yeah, and Rob, I'm curious to ask you about if you sort of had the platform or the chance to really address people that are looking for work or want to be more diverse. How do you think resumes can be better presented to HR people to get a wider group of people a chance at working?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, I think there's so much onus. I'm not sure that it's something that needs to be done from the candidate side. I think it's actually it actually needs to be learning and awareness, and bias training, and all the things that should be done for the individuals that are participating in a selection process. So I don't know that there's anything that candidates are not doing to put themselves out there, giving employers the information that's needed to be able to consider them for roles. I think it's actually the onus is on the employers to make sure that we're recognizing biases, and we're recognizing the value of diversity, and we're creating fair opportunities, fair selection processes, so that we can end up with the representative workforce that we want, and that we need, and that we should have. So yeah, I don't know. That's an excellent question. I hadn't even ever thought about that, but I think it's actually the onus is more on the employer than anything.
Well, it's just another opportunity for another webinar, right? No, I'm kidding.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, my final question for you has to do with your own personal and professional legacy in the work that you do, and in general, buddy, how do you want that to be defined?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think, I ended up in HR by way of a degree in psychology. I worked in government for a period of time while I was in university for, at the time it was Human Resources and Skills Development Canada. I've worked on the front lines of mental health with Children's Aid Society, and with Maryvale, an acute care hospital for adolescents with mental health conditions. So and I really wanted to combine those things where I was in a health setting, and or doing something related to health and towards science and perhaps psychology, but also combining that with HR and that end of things. And so I think the most important thing for me was just to be in a position to help both businesses and also help individuals, help people, and do work that is meaningful. I think that is, I know in our business, that's the number one thing that is, it's scored the highest out of all of our employees, is the fact that they feel that the work that they do at Alimentiv is meaningful. And I think that's all I've ever wanted, is to just be a help to an organization that's doing good in the world, and supporting people, in their work lives, and whatever benefit I can have there. And for my team, I think as a leader, it's also part of the role to produce other leaders, and help them in their journey as well. So I think those would be the things that I would hope to be able to look on, that I've been successful in helping those that are part of my team progress, and also helping business, helping a business, and also doing work that's meaningful and creating good for people in the world in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, finally, tell me, if people are interested in working for Alimentiv, or want to get connected with the company or yourself personally, what's the best way they can do that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Our website, so alimentiv.com, our careers page, we have a lot of information there. There's quite a bit to look at there, and information about different opportunities and the things that make us unique as an organization. Our LinkedIn page, we have a LinkedIn company page, so you can search Alimentiv on LinkedIn. And also would strongly recommend checking out our Glassdoor page. Lots of great information there. You're hearing it right from the horse's mouth, from our employees, current and past. And so, yeah, I would probably say check those things out. And then in terms of getting connected with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Again, my name's Robert Pitman, so you can connect with me there, or you can email me at robert.pitman@alimentiv.com, and I'd be happy to take your email.
Well, you answered this one when I asked you to do this, buddy. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the work that you do to diversify the hiring process and the world of healthcare. It's always great to see you, and I want to thank you for engaging in conversation with me this afternoon.
Thank you, Kev. Really appreciate it. Great questions, and great conversation as always. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.